like I said, I think what we do with the personal vision statement is the most accurate thing. A lot of that, they talk about people who they should have roughly the same, yeah, they have the same values or whatever, but they need to have a complementary uniqueness. The whole key to marriage is what one person craves ought to be what the other person wants to give, and then vice versa. And that's the hard part, is that you can find a situation that might be good for one person, but is it good for both?
Mm. Yeah.
But they say, you should come from the same background, educationally, financially, religious, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is, but there's like 4 areas you should have the same, if you have a different view on money, if you have a different view on religion, if you have a different view on raising kids, if you have a different view on education.
Beliefs, basically. We're talking beliefs, aren't we? Having similar
Yeah.
beliefs, basically.
Yeah.
Because
So then that'll
thoughts lead
tear
to
everything
words.
apart. But then you got to be opposites. And
So you got to be the same beliefs, but you got to be opposites, but opposite uniquenesses, you mean, in a way, don't you?
right, because the thing is that we have that personal vision statement, and we flip it. I show kids in school, your friends, I can tell you who your friends are, or who you actually get energy. We all want to be friends with certain people, but when it comes to actually hanging out with them, because we're humans, it'll wear us out, or we have to become different people in order to do that, and we're not ourselves. And that's what happens in a lot of marriages. It's so hilarious. Some of these, these people giving advice on dating and marriage, because that's the other thing, is every marriage is an effect of how they dated.
I remember the conversation about, are you dated in the 160 thought process or the 320? Is it that conversation we're talking about?
Well, that's a lot more specific, but really there's what I say to people is, to adults, I say, if an 11-year-old walked in the room and told you how to date, would you listen to him?
No.
That's too late. You already did. Everybody learned how to date when they were 11-year-olds by listening to another 11-year-old. The whole strategy for dating has got no basis in any sort of logic whatsoever. It's all based on 11-year-olds telling each other how to date. My point is that you end up with the marriage you get from the dating. And there are certain, like, rules, if you will, about dating that really kind of undercut the marriage.
Like, go on. Can we list them?
Exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the minute you start going, you have to like me, you have to be around me. The thing is, when people date, it's like there's all this energy, because it's like, I don't know if she likes me or not. I like her. And then what happens is she likes me and she spends time with me. So I know she must like me, because she's choosing to spend time with me. Well, then what do? Is we go, okay, we're dating, you have to spend time with me. That just undercut the value of her spending time with me, because now I don't know if she's doing it because she wants to or she has to. I was man, this is like 8 years ago, 7 years ago. I was teaching in a classroom, and there was like 75 kids. It was like this community class, and they had several people from the teachers and the school board and stuff there. And I was teaching about flow, actually. But what happened was, I was explaining how, flow, you need some tension, and you need this freedom. You need to balance it the right way. And I said, well, look at dating. I said, you guys all have a way around dating. You call it having a thing. And all the kids started laughing, and all the administration went, well, my son was a teenager at that time. He went to a different school. He told me about it.
Okay.
So I'm like, I know what's going on. These high school kids have learned they're not dating. They're having a thing.
Okay.
And I go, I go to the administration, you guys know what this a thing is? And they're like, nope. I go, let me show you what's going on here. All of these kids have learned that the minute they say we're dating, it's going to be over in 2 weeks. You talk
Okay.
about a marriage lasting 2 years, right? These teenagers 7 years ago all knew that the minute they go, you and I are dating, it will be over in 2 weeks.
It's the chase. Is that what you mean?
Well, it's not the chase. It's the you undercut the source of energy. The source of energy is I'm high when she spends time with me.
Okay.
That's what, but so then what do? I go, I'm going to make that happen. My strategy to be happiness is make her spend time with me. That's going to make me happy. And that undercuts it. The minute I make her spend time with me, I'm no longer high because she has to spend time with me.
I see what you're
So
saying.
so the minute they go, we're dating, because they've linked dating with exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they went, we're not dating, we're having a thing. Meaning we both said we like each other, but we're not dating. We don't have to see each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that kept it going. I go, you guys think you're pretty smart, right? And they all were like, yeah. I go, so what are you going to do when you get married? And every 75 kids went, like, you just pushed off the issue. You just pushed it off. So now what you're going to do is you're going to keep this going until you get married. And then it's, I have to. And that's like, there was a study done, this is like 7, 8 years ago at the same time. But Jonathan and I were dealing with like 4 marriages that at 6 months after they got married, they stopped having sex. 4 different marriages.
Really?
Well, because what happens is if you're having sex before you're married, legally married, then you associate the thrill with the sex is we're not supposed to be doing this.
Oh, it's okay. It's the
This is
taboo bit,
exciting
the
because
taboo
we're
part.
not supposed to be doing this. And it's like, you're married, do it as much as you want. Well, now it's not any fun. And they
Okay.
don't do it.
Okay. It's
Like, we're
confusing.
humans.
Yeah.
We're not robots. We can't negotiate this logically. We got to account for energy, because the reason we date and the reason we want to be around people is energy. The reason we do stuff. If that's not it, like I say, you know the right way to eat and exercise, do it. Oh, why don't you do it? Because you don't have energy to do it. You're a human.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing in dating is this exclusivity. The second thing in dating is the minute you start losing energy, what does everybody start doing? They start touching. The thing is that, I used to talk about how we're all lines in space. And so, you kind of intersect with somebody. If you're going to stay married, you got to make an agreement to kind of try to work together, because nobody is going like this in life.
No.
We all kind of meet and then, or we kind of meet and then we're gonna go our separate ways unless we make some adjustments and try to do that together. But so yeah, you're gonna kind of go off your path.
That's marriage. It's up, it's down, it's like life, it's like anything. And I think it's what, if you want to stay together, you'll find a way,
Well,
just
if
like
you want to stay together, right, you're gonna have to work together.
a lot of people just go, oh, I'm bored of them now, right? I want a new one, that I want
Right,
connection.
and they're just gonna make the same mistake with the next one.
And they'd make the same mistake. And if I went around just reacting and just showing everybody all my feelings the whole time, I know who the hell's going to put up with that. You need a balance. You need a balance.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, is that I mean, if you do that with the communication guidelines, you can't really be destructive doing that. And then there ought to be people who want, that crave that, are attracted to you being that way.
Yeah, but that's not Alex's dad. So I'll be like, Richard, remember like this and this and this, I felt like that. Okay. And I'm still harboring that hurt within me. And he gets very upset. And I'm like, I'm not telling it. I'm not saying it to get that kind of, I just want you to hear me and know this is what I'm going through. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't want to understand me. I have no idea, but this is what I'm feeling right now. And I'm going to be a bit funny for a little bit. Just maybe set your expectations. That's maybe the least I can do. But, please don't expect me to want to right now tidy your house, clean up your socks, pick up your whatever. Like right now, my heart's not in it. Let's just put it that way. And I have to get over this feeling. It's something I'm still dealing with, and I want you to understand. I've kind of left it like that. And if it annoys them, well, they'll have to do it. Yeah, I don't want to just be this housewife. I don't want to just be the housewife. But if we had to go back to this triangle, because it does make sense to me, where would you say the intangible driver comes in? There, under emotional maturity? Would you put it there?
I would probably put it at the top.
What, with chemistry?
Yep.
Okay.
Because I'm a systems thinker and well, I'm a chemist too. But the thing is that, in systems thinking, the value is not in the person, the value is in the exchange between two people. And chemistry is that what most people mean by chemistry is synergism. Basically, two people have something more than they would separately combined. Okay. So I would put the intangible drivers at the chemistry level.
I am still trying to figure out what intangible drivers are best suited that naturally flow together. And I understand there's a thought process here to consider. So somebody in the 320 thought process theoretically isn't going to be matched with somebody at the 10th thought process if they were the perfect.
Well, but that's a whole other thing. Hold the sheet up again. Let me help you fill in what you're looking for here. So I would put self-esteem at the bottom. So that maturity is self-esteem. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then what's the second to last?
He's got emotional maturity.
Yeah, that's self-esteem. I have that with self-esteem, emotional maturity. That's the same thing. What's the next one up?
Blendable lifestyles.
Okay.
So two people wanting the same thing, being able to have the same. So for instance, if I came to England and I had to bring my mother-in-law from Iran, and so that could cause a whole lot of problems, couldn't it? So I suppose we're talking about the extended family as well as wanting the same kind of lifestyle. The lifestyles have to be able to blend together. So I think this is where religious beliefs even can come in, culture can come in, expectations of like who's going to take care of whose parent, all those kind of things. That's your lifestyle, isn't it? It's not just about a BMW here.
Yeah. And then what's the one above that?
Then it's shared values. So knowing that you have a common goal that you want to do. I'm not saying our values have to be the same thing, but I can't want a baby and him not. So that's going to cause a problem, right? If to me, family is that family unit and he wants to put work first all the time, well, how's that going to work for us? We're going to end up staying together. Yeah. So
in that emotional maturity one, it's the habituation of the thought process. So what that means is that everybody can be in any thought process in the moment. That's called adaptation.
Yeah.
But habituation is what thought process do you go to in order to be happy? And so that's a sign of maturity in a sense too. So a narcissist goes to 320. A narcissist is happy when they're controlling other people, when they're causing other people harm.
That's because their conscience is flipped, though, isn't it?
Right, the conscience, yeah. But that's the thing, is that's how they feel happy. Someone who's habituated to 160 happiness is trying to have no tension at all. They want everything easy. And that's most people.
Okay.
And then 80 is people who want to achieve something. So I want to get a promotion. I want to get a raise. I want to earn a degree. I want to win an award.
Okay, so someone with a goal.
The driven people are 80. What's that?
Someone with a goal orientated. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then 10 is somebody who is going to respond to everything by being more themselves, and that's high self-esteem. So that's why I put self-esteem in there, but the habituation of thought process is at the bottom. So that's where a lot of these marriages start falling apart, is the woman who's just beating up the guy. Basically, the guy's at 160, the guy just wants no tension in his life, and then she gets pleasure ordering him around. She's at 320.
Yeah.
And she just is actually enjoying yelling and screaming at him or whatever. It's not like she is trying to accomplish something valuable at 80. She just wants to yell at him, and he's just like, okay, yell at me.
Yeah.
Just, leave me alone, basically. So that's where you have this conflict and stuff. But whereas both of them, if both of these two people are raising their thought process and get them up to flow, it's unlimited energy.
Okay.
A lot of these marriages, a lot of what people think is a great marriage is two people at 80, a power couple.
Okay, two people running a company now. Is that the power couple we're talking about?
Well, yeah, they run the company, or they both run a company, and they both have a career, two actor and actress who are stars, then they are both doing their movies and stuff, and they get together once in a while, but they're out there achieving what they need to achieve.
Now, I don't quite understand all this, like how you were in flow as a couple, but let me just go back to something I remember posting on my first round on LinkedIn, and that was that you can't, if you're both driven and you want to do this work thing, okay, like in line with earning money, that's what I was talking about, work, because it's something you enjoy doing rather than a task or something you don't really like, a chore you don't want to do. Those I call jobs, things that you don't get energy out of, that you just have to do it. That's the chore. To me, that's a job. Okay, it's not work. And I had it down that you can't both do work, because you'll both be passionate about wanting to do this damn thing, and then it's like, who's going to bring you home? And it's very easy to do that. So I thought, one has to do the job and the other one has to do the work, and then you can switch around. But you can't at the same time both be doing work like the whole time. There has to be this division. And again, it's down to, well, you have that agreement between you. Yeah, you're respecting each other. What's important to the other person's important to you. And yeah, we all need fulfillment in life. But when you get one person going, I'm just going to do my thing, and that's going to bring in the money, and you just stay at home and be the housewife, and that's your job to do all this stuff, that's when I see a lot of marriages go wrong, because the woman's sitting here going, well, what about me? I went to university, I studied, it's not just me feeling like this, John. I had a lot of my friends going, well, I went to university, I went, why do I have to do all this stuff? Why is he like coming home late at night? And a lot of marriages got affected just because of this one little and it's not a little thing, it's quite a big
thing. But it goes back to being a human. And I've said this before, it's like what happens is now all of a sudden the guy has turned his wife into his mommy.
Yeah.
Now he's having sex with mommy.
Oh dear.
And eventually he's going to get tired of having sex with mommy. And so he's gonna go have sex with another, that's the richest guys in the world. Their wives put their careers aside, supported them. Then they all went and had affairs with other women, and now they're divorced.
Yeah, very, very sad. And I think these are things that I don't know how you're going to introduce into the education system. Because it's very touch and go when you start talking about so, but they're quite happy to talk about gender and switching genders and all that stuff, but when it comes to the basics of this, it's not talked about, is it, John? And we just
it isn't talked about, but I've gone into high school classrooms and talked about this, and it's awesome.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's a good time. It's really good, because you're sitting there giving them truth, and they're laughing half the time, but then they're realizing what they're really doing with their brain and how far off. That's what I'm saying, is I go into the high school and teach this, and it's all of a sudden they realize how they're dating and how they're wiring their brain is wrecking themselves long term.
So is Flowsys going to come up with another module specifically for this, for online?
We have that. If you look at Mr. Lenhart's class, that's probably, every time we taught this, we have a course, and we did all this stuff. Every time we taught this, the guys would always say, why didn't I learn this when I was 13? I wish I'd learned this when I was 13. And if you look at Mr. Lenhart's class, that's a class for 12-year-olds, boys and girls.
Yeah.
But it really is kind of teaching, it's teaching these preteens how to get their brain in the right spot before they become men and women.
Okay. I've watched up to episode 13. There's supposed to be 14, isn't there?
20. The story, you know, goes through 12, and then it hits like a break, and then the last 8 are putting everything together and teach something that you didn't see was happening all along. Like you said, the way it ends, you know, especially on 19, on the second to last one, there's a bullying incident.
Okay.
And then it's like, how do you handle this? And people want to say the bullying didn't happen, but it happened.
Okay.
And then there's a dissolve in the last episode that just blows your mind. And so that's where it's like, what's a conflict that you have an answer to that no one else has an answer to? Now make that movie, knowing you have an answer no one has. Now do the movie to that, versus just doing a movie and it's kind of going and going and then it just ends. And it's like, it's when you want to just land something on people that just changes their lives. The great directors have this thing that they want to communicate, and then they create the movie to deliver that thing. Because what's going to happen when synaptic pruning happens, he's going to lose these connections that he had, and it's going to keep the ones he's developing. You want to make sure you're developing the right one. I really would like you to get through Mr. Lenhart's class, because there's an ending to it that I think when your brain gets wrapped around it, I think it's going to help you make your own movies. Okay. Yeah. Because what happens is the great directors, they have some point, they have an answer no one else has thought of, and then they write the story to deliver that answer. That's what Mr. Lenhart's class is there's this big ending to it that no one sees coming. And then the last episode, there's an ending.
Yeah.
So take a look at that. You look so much older since the last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
So what else? What are you doing with your quiz now?
I was making a PowerPoint quiz and I was coding it, but I've been trying to fix this error.
Okay, but what are you doing your quiz for? What's the goal?
Unconscious confrontation.
Like, give us an example of one. Alex, you're stupid.
What's your definition of stupid?
Yes, I love it. That's awesome. Did you watch How to Argue in 3 Questions? Did you watch that video?
Well, I know that if you do 3 questions, then that's the max. Do you think it's right to call someone stupid?
Nice.
And what happens?
Nice.
So it's all right.
Oh, I think if you watched the How to Argue in 3 Questions, you would be unstoppable.
So it's all right if I call you stupid?
There you go.
Yeah, it's okay if I call you stupid. Those are great unconscious confrontations. But there's this How to Argue in 3 Questions. You never have another argument, and you're just always asking questions, trying to understand other people. But you got it, man. You got it. So, man, he's teaching me. This is great, man. This is great. Yeah, take a look at Mr. Lenhart's class and let me know what you think, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Good talking with you again, man. Take care.
You too. Take care too.
Good luck with your
meetings. Bye.
That was awesome.
Thanks. Bye.